So it's been an interesting year for Leeds United. It looked as though they were finally getting things right again under Gary Monk, who narrowly missed out on the playoffs last season. Massimo Cellino finally left the club, but just days after a new owner was confirmed, Monk walked. That didn't seem to matter though, as Thomas Christiansen got Leeds firing once again, competing for promotion. However, no win since Boxing Day saw the Dane lose his job, with Barnsley's Paul Heckingbottom taking his place, just days after signing a new deal at Oakwell. There's still time for Leeds to turn their season around, but how well would they be doing right now if they still had all their best players? We've put together what we consider to be Leeds' best 11 right now if they still had all their best players, using people they've sold or had on loan in recent years and are still playing. Would this team be in the Premier League? In goal it's KASPER SCHMEICHEL. We start things off with a Premier League winner and a man whose dad is a legend to a Leeds United rival. KASPER SCHMEICHEL's journey to the Premier League stopped off in Leeds in 2010, joining on a free after his contract at Notts County was terminated. After an impressive first season at Ellen Road, the Foxes came calling and Schmeichel was on the move again, helping the club reach the Premier League and then go on to win it. That still doesn't sound right, does it? At right back it's Adam Smith. Considering he only played 3 games while on loan at Leeds, you might think it's daft to include Adam Smith in this team, but we want to include as many past Leeds players as possible, and since he's now a decent Premier League player, it seemed odd to leave him out. To be fair, Smith would have spent a lot longer at Leeds had Kyle Walker not got injured, but after just a month on loan at the club, Smith had to head back to Tottenham and provide defensive cover, but at least he got a Premier League debut out of it. However, I'm going to guess that Leeds fans would much rather see Luke Ayling in this position. Centre back is Pontus Jansson. One current Leeds player that does get in this team is Pontus Jansson, because to be honest there's a distinct lack of decent centre backs at Leeds in years gone by, so we selected the Swede because to be honest Matt Kilgallen hasn't quite got it anymore. Jansson joined Leeds last season from Torino and immediately endeared himself to the Leeds faithful with his performances and has to be considered as one of the best defenders in the league. He's alongside Kyle Bartley. We weren't kidding when we said we had limited centre-back options, so Jansson and Bartley are going to have to reunite once again after a great partnership under Monk last season. Bartley was on loan from Swansea where Monk obviously had connections and the defender looked at home at Ellen Road, arguably playing some of his best football. Sadly though, Bartley is back at Swansea this year and not really playing any part in their survival bid, while Leeds fans pine for his return. At left back it's Danny Rose. Our first Leeds Academy graduate in this side, Danny Rose sadly never played a competitive game for the club. That's how quickly one of the big boys snapped him up and took him away from Yorkshire, as Rose headed to Tottenham in 2007 with Leeds in financial peril. The left back has stated that he wants to move back up north at some point in his career, but considering he's now an England international and one of the Premier League's top talents, it's highly unlikely he meant heading back to Ellen Road. On the right of midfield is LENNON. You spend forever waiting for one and two come along at once. Yes, it's Leeds Academy graduates, not buses. LENNON made his Leeds debut at the age of 16 and at the time was the youngest player ever to appear in the Premier League, with Izzy Brown and Matthew Briggs since breaking his record. LENNON spent a season in the Championship with Leeds after they were relegated, but then moved to Tottenham, which seemed to be the place for Leeds to send their players while they tried to rake in some cash. The winger's best days were at White Hart Lane, appearing more than 200 times and getting international recognition. Now aged 30, LENNON has just joined Burnley, who is sitting pretty in the Premier League's top half. In the middle it's James MILNER. We just can't stop with the academy graduates now we've started. Just like Aaron Lennon, MILNER also held the record while he was at Leeds due to his youth. When he scored his first Premier League goal, MILNER was just 16 years and 309 days old, making him the youngest player to score a Premier League goal, but his record was later broken by Everton's James Vaughan. Back then MILNER was a jinky little winger, going on to fly down the Newcastle United wing, but in 2018, MILNER is a dependable asset to Jurgen Klopp and an experienced figure at 32 years old, and we got through all of that without mentioning the whole boring crap. He's alongside FABIAN DELPH. I promise this is the last academy graduate now, we've gone a little bit crazy with them. But although Pep Guardiola has convinced us all he's a left back now, FABIAN DELPH is at the heart of our midfield, because the Stone Island King isn't pulling the wool over our eyes. DELPH made his name in League One with Leeds, and his form allowed him to jump 2 divisions to the Premier League with Aston Villa. In the Midlands he got a reputation as a snake, but in a few months' time we'll all be calling him a Premier League winner, although Villa fans will still be calling him a snake. DELPH gets in this team ahead of a few decent enough names, with Johnny Howson, Bradley Johnson and former loanee Jake Livermore missing out. On the left wing is Andros Townsend. One Tottenham loanee who doesn't miss out is Andros Townsend, whose UK loan tour as a kid saw him arrive at Elland Road in 2012, where he made a massive 7 appearances, scoring 1 goal for the club. Like Adam Smith earlier, Townsend would spend only 1 month at Leeds, but the winger would leave for different reasons, reportedly unhappy at the club and instead heading to Birmingham on loan. Nowadays Townsend is with Palace, where everyone is asking the same question: where on earth did that head of hair come from? Attacking midfield is Ross Barkley. Now you'd be excused for forgetting that Ross Barkley ever played for Leeds, because I certainly did, but the Scouse playmaker was briefly there on loan in 2013, making 4 championship appearances for the club. The following season, Bartley would cement his place as an Everton regular, so I think we can all agree he owes his career to his brief time at Leeds. Of course, nowadays Bartley is at a crossroads in his career, having fell off the map at Everton and failed to reach his potential, yet still getting moved to Chelsea, where it really is sink or swim for the clearly talented midfielder. And finally, up front we've got Chris Wood. The man whose goals nearly propelled Leeds to the Premier League last season, Chris Wood has never played football better than he did at Elland Road, scoring 44 goals in 88 games for the club and winning the Championship Golden Boot last season. His form got him a move to Burnley in the summer, who paid £15 million for the New Zealand international, and he's done OK in the top flight, while Leeds are still longing for his replacement, with no one really stepping up to the plate and taking on the goal scoring burden. So that's Leeds' best 11 if they kept their best players. Let us know your team in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.